The College Football Playoff Committee is going to give us their rankings on Tuesday. There'll be a basketball game, and we'll probably wait till overtime of that game or whatever happens, and they'll push the rankings back and back. But we're going to talk about college football playoff rankings right now. We're going to give you our college football playoff rankings as they stand. Very clear. These are not predictions. These are not projections. This is heavily weighted on the eye test for us when it comes to ranking these top 6 teams. But the first 2 out and our 4 teams as of right now, we're just going to give it to you right now on Sunday morning. So without further ado, make sure you're subscribed. College football and college football. We are pushing towards 200K subs, just like we're pushing towards a national championship for all 6 of these teams. Would love to have you a part of it. Get at me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Pickell. Let me know your top 6. We appreciate you in advance. All right, at number 6, we got Oregon. Handled USC. Got a great rep, I believe, for what Washington will present to them when they play them the second time in a Pac-12 title spot. I believe that's what's going to happen here. Oregon, we say it a lot. The persona of this team is completely identical to their leadership. Cool. Never have a spot too big for them. Bo Nix, as experienced as he is, never going to be overwhelmed by an opponent or the spotlight, whatever it ends up being. Like, he is cool as it gets. Dan Lanning the exact same way. I love the way they're built, like a Big Ten team in the interior. Their skill on the outside, I think, is vastly underrated. And I think what they have on the defensive side of the ball does not get enough credit, and how they played USC should get some more love. So Oregon at number 6 for us in our college football playoff rankings. Now, number 5, we got Washington. And Washington, to be very, very honest with you, when they're clicking, when they have the perimeter game going, there is nobody that can feel safe, to be honest. Like, every single week, you wonder if the Washington defense is going to hold up, and every single week it does. So at the end of the day, you can't argue with results. Michael Penix Jr. is playing as well as anybody else in the country when it comes to what he's doing at the quarterback position. Rome Odunze, matchup nightmare. They beat a good Utah team, beat a physical Utah team. To see them pass that kind of test, I think said a lot for me. I would be, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but I would keep an eye on them potentially even moving into that top 4 when the committee gives you their rankings. We have them at 5, but still, Washington, handle business, you're in the dance. Plain and simple. Same deal for Florida State at number 4. If they go undefeated, just like Washington, they will be in the dance. They're a team that continues to find a way every single week. And for some of us, it's like, man, why aren't they more dominant? Why aren't they blowing out Miami? Why aren't they beating Pitt by more? And that's a fair, I think, question to have. But to the exact same token, I think you look at Florida State and you say, just who they are. Like, we should believe who Florida State is. They are a gritty football team. They find a way to win. They're not always the most flashy in the country, but again, you cannot argue with results. Run game getting going again for them. We say it every single week. Once that run game gets rolling, the weapons are fully unlocked for Jordan Travis. He deserves a lot more juice nationally. That defense just continues to answer the call to action every single week and do their job. Won a gritty rivalry game this weekend against Miami in gritty Florida State fashion. They're number 4 this week. Same as Washington. Handle business. You're in there. Now, at 3, we have Ohio State. I'll say this right now. I would be surprised if the committee dropped Ohio State from number 1. We've had Ohio State at 3 for the majority of our rankings, even before the committee came out with theirs. Ohio State passed the eye test against Michigan State. Really encouraging. The biggest thing for me is Kyle McCord getting comfortable now before that game against Michigan. And not so much because we don't think he can get the job done. I just want him to be at his peak from a confidence standpoint, from a comfort standpoint, before they go have their toughest test. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in the country. You can make an argument for a lot of other guys. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. stacks up with anybody. And he is at a point now where the way they feed him offensively, whether they're getting in the ball on a screen game, on the reverse, whether it's a vertical shot, like, he has the opportunity now to take over every single game. When the decks are even, when the hands you're playing are even, he can be the ace that makes the difference with whoever they play. So Ohio State at number 3. Just keep winning. Same thing for this entire, really, top 6. Just keep winning. You'll be in good shape. At number 2, you got Michigan. And, I mean, the way that they played Penn State yesterday was a statement. Absolute statement. Did not throw the ball in the second half. J.J. McCarthy, a lot of people are going to say, well, J.J. McCarthy must be mid, right? No, J.J. McCarthy did what was asked of him. Went 7 for 8. Hard to call a dude mid when you have 1 incompletion on the day. Now, are they going to need more pass game going forward against Ohio State? You would expect that to be the case. But even so, for Michigan just to make a statement against a really good Penn State roster and to say, we don't want to throw the football, we're not going to throw the football, and until you show us that you're going to stop the run, we're going to keep running it at you. That team has an edge. They've always had an edge. They've got more ammo now, I think, with Sharon Moore as the acting head coach. As of right now, we'll see if Jim Harbaugh gets back to the sidelines. But Michigan, man, we know they're dangerous. We know what it is with them. They're built like a truck up front. They want to bulldoze you. They did that yesterday. They're at number 2 for me this week. At number 1, you got Georgia. You could have moved Michigan up, but Georgia, I mean, the way they played Ole Miss yesterday just throttled them, left no doubt. We say it every single week, like they're rounding into the best version of themselves at the exact right time. Carson Beck, I think he deserves a Heisman Trophy invite. I really do. I think he deserves to be in New York City if they had the award ceremony today. And Brock Bowers back in the lineup, and the depth they have offensively, there's no weak points within this football team. Like every weakness we see week to week with Georgia, it gets remedied the next week. Now you've had guys step up here that have less experience that are starting to play some good football for them. That speaks to the organization, speaks to the traits. It speaks to Kirby Smart. So for Georgia, they're still getting better. There's nothing to key on from them offensively and defensively. The way they filled on the perimeter yesterday in that outside run game against Ole Miss and took away Trey Harris in the pass game with Kamari Lassiter just locking up, like Georgia's dangerous. This is not last year Georgia. This is their own Georgia. And they're playing as well, and I think potentially better than anybody else in the country by nature of us having them at number 1. So a quick recap for you. Our first 2 out, but still control their own destiny, Washington and Oregon. Florida State at 4, Ohio State at 3. They're going to play Michigan here in just a couple of weeks. That'll be a very, very big game, obviously, for the Big Ten and it will be a big game for the college football playoff picture. And at number 1, we got Georgia. They punched their ticket to the SEC title game. They will see Alabama. Let me know your top 6. Let me know where you stand when it comes to your college football playoff rankings in the comment section here. Make sure you're subscribed. And also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Get at me on there at JD Pickell. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.